What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reading a story called Dancing. So let's jump right into this. My fiance and I rent a house together and we live alone. About 2 years ago, my fiance and I were laying in bed. It was actually pretty late in the morning, 10:30 or 11 a.m. or so. I'd been awake for about 10 or 15 minutes and my fiance was just waking up. We laid there talking softly about whether or not we should get up yet or try to go back to sleep for a bit, since he had the first half of the day off of work and it might be nice to catch up on some sleep, since we'd had a busy couple of days. He was lying on his back, staring up at the ceiling, and I was on my right side facing him with my hand on his chest while we talked. In that position, I had my back to our bedroom door, which was maybe 8 or 9 feet away from the bed behind me. Suddenly, an odd feeling came over the room. Seriously, it felt like the air in the room was suddenly either sucked out or made very, very heavy. And it almost felt like I was underwater or gravity changed, and the room seemed to almost feel like it was tilting to the side. It felt like the air in the room was pressing down on top of my body while at the same time slowing down time and making me dizzy and loopy. My ears were popping. Well, I thought it was just me feeling this, and for a moment I wondered if I was having a blood pressure drop. I get those sometimes, though it still wasn't quite what it felt like. But my fiance said, in a very frightened voice that sounded like he couldn't breathe very well, and like he couldn't get out the words without struggling, "Do you feel that too? What's happening?" And that was when I knew something odd and scary was going on, because he was feeling the exact same thing. I tried to speak, but my speech actually came out kind of slurred, and I had to force the words out of my mouth to say, "I don't know, I can't move." He said I can't either, and I saw him trying to turn over onto his side and trying to raise his arm. He just kept saying, "What's happening? What's happening?" I tried to raise my arm up too, and found that I couldn't. Again, it was like being underwater and in an intensely pressurized room. I started trying to push myself up to see if I could sit up. I couldn't do it. It was just too heavy. Then we both heard the doorknob of our bedroom door turning. It was turning over and over again, almost like someone was trying to come in, but they weren't jiggling it or trying to open the door. It was actually turning in a rhyme. It was turning back and forth in a rhyme at about the same tempo as a metronome, like a beat to a song. It was very deliberate. We were both terrified and we froze. The first thought in my mind was that someone had broke in, though I couldn't figure out why they would turn the doorknob back and forth in a deliberate rhyme. Especially because our bedroom door has no lock on it. They could just open it and walk right in. We couldn't move. That weird heavy gravity feeling that was holding us down still would not allow us to move. But I was trying to, and I could feel my fiance trying to as well. All I was able to do was turn my head very slowly and look over my shoulder at the doorknob and watch it turning. I could see it. Then we both heard it, singing. 2 children's voices. What sounded like a pair of young girls started singing a song that I could not make out most of the lyrics to. And the only clear lyrics that I could make out was the very last word at the end of the sentence, dancing. So let me clarify what I'm trying to describe. These 2 young girls' voices were singing an almost nursery rhyme type song outside our bedroom door, while turning the bedroom doorknob back and forth to match the tempo of what they're singing. The doorknob is going clink, 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 as these little girls' voices are singing something, 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 dancing. Something, 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 dancing. And the doorknob would turn with each word they sang, keeping perfect rhyme. I couldn't make out nearly any of the other words of the song they were singing except for the word dancing at the very end of each stanza, and they were singing it in a way that was kind of playful and taunting. Maybe, for instance, kind of like two little girls would do if they were teasing an older sibling or their mom or dad by coming up to a room they're in, shaking the doorknob and singing at them just to tease. The song almost sounded made up, the way kids sometimes sing, like made up songs to be silly or playful, just trying to give you a feel as to how this sounded. It also sounded like they were laughing or trying not to giggle while doing it. So as this is all going on, and I'm watching the doorknob turn as these voices sing at us, and near the end of the song I turn my head in slow motion back to my fiancé to see if he's seeing and hearing the same thing I am, and I can now see he has finally managed to be able to turn his head, and he was watching the doorknob too. And the look on his face was just, I'll never forget it. His eyes were as big as dinner plates. I've never seen him that shocked or that scared. His face was just white. And then the song ended. It was short, just 2 stanzas. Then just as soon as it started, the doorknob just stopped turning on the very last word of the song, dancing. And all at once, that heavy, dizzy weight that had been holding us down and making it so hard to move and breathe just lifted, just went away. Just like that, suddenly we could move again, and the air and gravity felt normal. It seriously was all over, from start to finish, in about 10 seconds. My fiancé sat up and goes, "What just happened?" And he jumped over me and out of bed, raced to the door and yanked it open. Nothing was there. We don't have a hallway. It's a small house, and our bedroom door opens right up into the living room. And he just looked out into it and goes, "Nobody's out there." I got up and ran over to him and looked for myself. No one was there. House empty, and our 2 cats were both backed up against the far wall of the living room, hissing and growling. They'd either heard it too or even seen what did it. And from the spot right in front of our bedroom door all the way through the living room, through the dining room, and out the kitchen door, there was a trail of heat. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just a trail of heat. The air just felt hot and oily, and you could almost see a haze like fog trailing from our bedroom door through the house to the kitchen door. We checked both the front door and the kitchen door, locked, both locked. We both sat back down on the bed, and we were just shaking. We kept asking each other, did that really just happen? We both heard the same thing, right? And yeah, we both felt the air pressure holding us down in bed and making us move in slow motion. And we both heard and saw the bedroom doorknob moving back and forth in a rhyme. And then both heard the 2 little girls singing that song. So I know it wasn't a hallucination or anything. The only difference was that my fiancé understood a couple more of the lyrics of what they were singing, though not many. He said it sounded like, "And we came in a dancing," or "And we go a dancing." It was just so unsettling and spooky, and to be honest, the way the girls' voices sounded, they didn't sound mean or creepy. They seriously sounded like 2 real little girls who were just having fun and teasing us. It didn't feel or sound malevolent or anything. It still creeped us out, just that it happened though. We were both shaken up for the rest of the day, and I begged him not to leave for work that afternoon, but he had to. The whole time he was at work, I kept every light in the house on, along with both the TVs in the living room and our bedroom. It's never happened again, but it still creeps us both out just talking about it. Hope you enjoyed that story. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and turn on post notifications to get notified when I upload every Friday. See you next Friday.